Nice to meet you.
Yeah, just like, watch out. On.
It was like just have extra swinging weight hanging off of you. It'd be so awkward. I guess those the boobs are.
Yeah, I was like, wait, you gotta...
Yeah, they're super uncomfortable. It is awkward.
I like them.
Welcome back, everybody. Boobs are awkward.
Boobs.
I got the Stone Sky, so.
Did you already finish the second one?
Yeah.
Kick it. So you finished your third.
Amber Ale. How 1990s.
That's from the
I
library.
know.
Welcome back.
It has a bear moose on
We
it.
are not back already. Then this, I'm just basically speaking to air. But yes, back from break.
We're not air, we have names.
Queen of Air and Darkness, it's fine.
Welcome back from the break, and we were just tripping balls. We're back now. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna ask you, Shanna. I'm sure everybody around you, your whole group, everything like that, everybody's kind of asking questions, talking to you, trying to probe maybe for information. What's going through Farron's mind right now?
Farron's stoked.
Okay, but so
Like-
how so?
He's just elatedly excited. It's like he stumbled upon,
You're high.
like migrating monarch butterflies, but like the equivalent, like this like gorgeous swath of mushrooms that he felt calling to him, and he answered the call, went down the rabbit hole, communed in this incredibly symbiotic way. This is like the stuff this is what this guy lives for, and came out of it and is like, for a brief moment, just like looking at time, like, did you try it? Do you know what? You're gonna love it.
You're looking at upside down.
Yeah,
So she's like,
like
looking
I'm like, because it was like such a positive experience, even though it was confusing, and like it was like came out unscathed, and like the first person they're seeing is the person that they know would appreciate it the most, and it's just kind of having like a slight moment where they're like, were you there? Did you? Because that there was like the last thing they remember was like the handhold, like we were going to do this together.
I will say, from everybody else's point of view, 2 hours have gone by.
2 hours?
Yeah.
Mushrooms are slow.
And how do you respond? I mean,
Keth is like,
I'm just kind of like
freaking
still like, no longer mopping
Or
your
was.
brow, but I'm definitely like kind of doing the whole like comfort thing as not like you need comfort, but like I'm grounded, you're here now with me. And she's like, no, I couldn't join you on this journey.
Then
what happened?
Then he sits up and he looks at you and he's like, do you know the Cantarella tribe? Does that sound at all familiar to you? Cantharella tribe.
Is that one of the tribes?
Not an orc tribe. No.
Roll a knowledge.
I only named 3 of them, so I wasn't sure. 8. I'm not very nature-y.
So here's the thing.
How is that possible?
You're a little startled because you actually you're not fully cognizant and aware that the Mycelian have tribes.
But do I have like an inkling of what Farron was explaining to me, like what it was, or?
Like, I don't say it's a Mycelian tribe. I just say the Cantharella.
Or like what happened to him, I guess.
Right. So, let me just say that the Cantharella tribe does not ring a bell at all.
Yeah.
So can I turn to...
Would
Ferg?
Ferg recognize it as, like, not as a tribe, but as, like, the name that gets used in the mycologues to describe chanterelles and their kin? I got good nature and history.
Please, I'll take history or nature.
Because that's the next thing I do. Because I'm like, you?
Jeebus.
Yeah.
You have an inspiration?
No.
Oh god, I have inspiration.
I'm giving you one.
Okay.
I really need to know what's happening.
How?
Yeah, you gotta extract how you're giving it.
So I'm saying, like, so I turn to Ferg and I'm like you, anything that you've read, like what do you know about about this Cantharella, like dig deep.
And I'll even add, like, you begin to muse and wax a little poetic
Wayne.
about your journey, and certain key words that Farron is dropping is reminding you of
Can
certain
I
things.
just start
much
rambling
better.
as far as like what I picked up on from
Sure.
the conversation?
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
they're
You're
pushed
dead to
hard
me.
on both sides and they're tired. If the spiral was a disc, it would leave us room. Like what else? And like he's like remembering it and piecing it together. And you know the heart is in danger. Does any of this sound familiar to any of you?
That was a 14 that I rolled.
Okay.
Or sorry, an 18 that I rolled.
Thank you.
Total.
So
Like,
first of all, there is a grouping, like almost like a biospecies of mushrooms that that certain number of druids and rangers and whatnot refer to as the sort of the Cantharella grouping, or like
Yeah.
but it's never been referred to as a tribe, ever.
yeah. Ferg thinks that part's weird because they're mushrooms.
Right. And
Farron
you
thinks you're
think
weird
that that's weird in the sense that, like,
Of course, you
okay,
think Ferg
well,
is weird.
obviously, mycelium can't have tribes. It's one thing.
I tell everybody that.
Yeah.
Like you're telling me what you know about the
Yeah.
mushrooms, and I'm like, well, the mycelium can't have tribes. They are one consciousness.
Science.
You know, the feeling that you get from this interaction is, I think, can be categorized into one phrase of beat down benevolence.
Like from my
From the way it communicated to
Oh.
you, from the way it sort of categorized
like
itself,
broken power.
themselves, not broken power, but breaking power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's
Just barely holding on.
Oh, like when you see Galadriel and her face gets all creepy, and you're like,
No, more like when you see a
You used to be
beautiful
great.
dog and then you approach the dog and then it cowers because it's so used to abuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tired.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson looks at you, Kath, and is like, perhaps it is one consciousness, but it has many voices. And that I am a single consciousness, but I often talk to myself and hear many voices inside.
I've noticed.
I mean, it was, and like
Ferg just sort of sniggers at that.
or like Farron's more clear in that, like, it was definitely the mycelium mind. Like, there's, it was in me, I was it was me, but it was other than me.
God, this is ridiculous, Lucy says. It was a drug-induced trip.
And then
Those are-
These aren't drug-inducing mushrooms.
and Farron goes, yeah.
So you say, we just saw.
Well, Time ate one too, and
Ferg
she's
eats one.
not any weirder
It's
than
clear
usual.
that she would have built up a tolerance over time.
Well, why don't you
do
eat
this
one, Lady
often.
July?
No, I would never do that. Thank you. I know the dangers.
Keth eats one.
Ferg also eats one and is like, look, we're fine.
And Farron just looks at Lady Julian and
I
goes,
ate another one.
This is,
They're really good.
Okay. There must be a logical explanation for this.
do you have one?
We're
living
giving
in
you
it.
the
Listen,
logic.
Just because there has to
Right?
be one, it doesn't necessarily mean that I know it.
All right, great. Very helpful.
Well, you're
Our
also
barbarian
not
knows
being
it.
helpful in your sort of. I mean, we can't even understand you.
Farron walks away.
Spirals and discs. I mean, what does that even
He
mean?
Unfazed.
was communing with the mycelium in a way that we've never seen. Like, he's clearly never done it before. Have I read anything about people communing that way with?
Well, yeah, yes, absolutely. But you also, on the side of Lucy July, there are many people in this world that don't necessarily commune with the mycelium; they just use it as a resource.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Ferg has any sort of like moralistic, like what's the right way and what's the wrong way. But you know that there are several ways,
Yeah, they're
and then there's accidental anomalies like Sparky.
Rude. Farron. I think Farron.
Craig looks at
like,
right,
has
not
Farron
true.
had experiences like this before, like in the past, like similar to this?
Absolutely. But A, not in the Kashar Forest.
Yeah.
And B, not with a cooking mushroom.
Okay.
This is a 0%
Yeah.
psychoactive mushroom.
Yeah.
There's nothing about this that's psychedelic at all. So that's what that. So when you're sort of sitting with the experience and taking that into consideration, it absolutely does not make sense. You can actually kind of understand, to a certain degree, Lucy's sort of skepticism.
Yeah.
But the fact that you had the experience is undeniable.
Yeah.
I mean, at least to you. So and then you have other folks around you that definitely believe you and are sort of like asking questions and sort of like shepherding you out of your journey.
Yeah. Well, do I know about? So I mean, I'm remembering like has Time shared with me like her origin story in terms of following the woman through the forest and having
I'm not sure.
Morel.
Yeah, following Morel. Have you shared that with? So like I think well, I'm trying to like kind of piece it together. Like I kind of talked to you about that, and I'm like, does that sound similar to what you experienced, or because I know it was another like not psychotropic like experience that felt similar. I'm trying to like piece together.
And say what type of spores I imbibed, but certainly felt psychotropic. Certainly wasn't because you shared your like the experience with us at this point.
Yeah,
She's
like I
I
imagine
was
we're
still
like
I was still in the same place.
Moving
but I
on.
saw the magical layer that rests upon our world. And I could see the flow of all of that, and I felt quite connected to it. I certainly wasn't. I didn't feel like I communicated with anything, and I do not. She like kind of feels her hair for a moment. I have not seen Morel since yet. I don't know what's
Well,
up.
honestly, it sounds to me like whatever happened to you, it was a cry for help. I don't think we can just stand by and not do anything. The mycelium reached out to you for a reason.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate and assume that that's true. What's the cry? Where do we go? What do we do, Lucy?
Well, we need to figure out where this... What was it called?
The heart?
Well, that, but the tribe.
The Cantarell tribe?
Cantharella.
Cantharella tribe.
I just keep wanting to say Chanterelle.
Well,
Right.
I took this, straight from reality, and and so the chanterelles are inside of the Cantharella
Genus.
genus. So yeah.
where is the Kashar Valley in relation to where we
This
are?
whole thing is a Kashar Valley.
Oh, the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we should be looking for the Strassman Collective also. Just saying.
Back of your mind.
Yeah.
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 Duh.
And Sparky says, "Shouldn't we find like one of your homes so that we can kind of I don't know, feel a little bit more safe?"
Well, we are making it on our way to the closest way station, but I'm starting to wonder if we should instead be trying to find the elders, because they might know more of this tribe than I can teach you. I don't know everything that the orcs know, and my people are very close, or we used to be very close to the mycelium before they receded from us, so maybe they know.
Have some clues to
I don't know,
what's
Bill.
going on.
Do I think that my elders... Well, I mean, I feel like Keth would think his elders would know it regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, you have a lot of what's going on. Well,
Fisher's asking.
I got faith in my old
just a little
peeps.
bit.
okay.
Fisher asked.
Yeah. I actually moved it on purpose because you were out of the frame. Looked there. So. Okay.
Yeah, thumbs up.
I like that idea. Can we start heading in that direction?
Yeah, I'm still thinking going to the closest way station. I don't know. I don't know how to know where the orcs would be. I guess Keth would have some idea of like what their pattern is, but it also changes, so I don't really.
Because it's nomadic.
What would what would you think, Bill?
I mean, if they're nomadic and there is a pattern, even if it does change, like they're probably going to leave a sign at the whatever way station we get to.
Like, there's got to be a way I would know, right?
Yeah.
Like, how would I find them again? I want to try to take them to my people
Cool. So you're
to like figure out what to do about
with
this.
the same plan and head towards, the way station that you knew you were closest to.
Yeah.
And so you all sort of travel for the remainder of this day.
Yeah.
And a long day it is. It's very the more you get into the forest, it's not easy going. It's very, very tough to traverse. And you can almost guarantee that it would be 10 times tougher if y'all didn't have like you two, specifically you, because you tend to be able to navigate and have a good direction sense inside the forest, but you have a good sense of circumnavigating certain potentially dangerous areas.
Also, Keth's like, I go by myself. You like take other people. Like, I can probably get through fine on my own, but I can't lead.
Right.
Like,
and
not a leader.
And so you guys camp for the night. You find another little area that you can build a lean-to on, and I need everybody to roll. Not everybody, just one person. Sorry, to roll a d20.
not it.
Anna, go for it.
10.
Okay. So you, aside from Burgess coming back into the fold.
You left me.
Where have you been?
I was pooping.
Were those rats yours?
Were what rats mine?
You don't just ask that guy.
Interesting.
Where have you been, Burgess?
Just hunting.
I'm impressed you can navigate this forest by yourself.
Can't kill what's already dead.
You say that out loud.
No. That was me not having a filter. Keth, I don't think Keth would actually say
here's
that.
my question. So last week, I think we established that one person had a very, very, very strong sense that Burgess was a vampire.
But then Burgess told us all in her story that she wasn't alive anymore, didn't she?
Allegedly, this.
Oh,
orc woman.
the orc woman in her story was no longer alive.
Yeah.
I feel like
So we're just kind of
we're
Fair
smart
enough.
enough to realize that,
Keth's not.
for sure.
like, put all the clues together.
So
Fergus like, did you bring any meat for us?
I am not intelligent.
Burgess says, nothing that you could.
Damn it.
I'll think about that next time, though. Sorry, I'm not used to thinking about others.
No, that's cool. I know exactly how that goes.
Farron gives you a giant
No,
basket
you
of
don't.
chanterelles.
Not like this.
Surprised you want to eat him after that.
But no, you've raised a good point.
Are you like-
I'll start to think a little bit about that. Thinking, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. Ferg knows that we have chanterelles, but also wants
Meat.
Chicks.
rabbit, cow.
Oh, rabbit and chanterelles sound delicious.
See? Ferg's learning
Can you
from
put this up?
Kath.
Yeah.
Are you vegetarian?
No.
I just send
Kind of scavenger.
I send Jubebug like in the area, kind of like swooping, like
Ooh.
using her ultraviolet vision.
Rabbits.
How hawks kind of hunt, like looking for urine tracks, and just like finds a rabbit.
Mm.
Okay.
It's big enough.
You're a good crew.
So, and that's kind of as you're bedding down.
Yeah. Yeah, go find
Cool.
something.
Do it up for the morning.
So,
Put it in the Instapot.
Burgess
Yeah.
says,
We're not setting watch again, right? Like we've done in the past. Like,
Burgess says, don't bother setting watch. I've got this.
all right.
Before we go to sleep, Keth looks at Lucy July and says, if you put us all in danger again, I'm not going to come find you. And he turns over and goes to sleep.
Who says,
I told that to Lucy July. Like, if you put us all in danger like that, like you did this morning, I'm not going to come find you again. And then he's going to go off and go to sleep.
So,
You see Lucy's jaw
Or-
kind of clench a little
I guess
bit.
Farron could find you, but
But she takes it. She nods.
she's
Takes
a
it.
hater.
she almost got us all killed.
I know.
Yeah.
Bitch. Like,
As Ferg is climbing up a tree to sleep on a branch, because Ferg likes sleeping in high places, just looks over at Lady July and is like, I said safe. Like,
Oh, how the tables have turned.
yeah.
Good night, Wesley.
Like,
Good job today. I'm most
They'll
likely
feed
kill you in
her
the
her
morning.
legs when she's safe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
they said
we're
safe.
definitely not safe in the Kashar Forest right now.
You're waiting for somebody to say the safe word, and you're going to break a leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kneecapped.
I mean, at the like
your safe
metagaming,
word.
Ferg is probably like
Bowls.
going to come to the conclusion that her losing her children in that way was maybe enough revenge.
It just is reminding me of
Full
like,
circle. She'll
Neil
probably
Gaiman's
die.
American Gods, how the one god is like, and then I get to hit him in the head with my hammer once everybody's safe.
It's like
Yeah.
Chernobog
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Chernobog.
Chernobog.
Yeah.
There it is. Wait a minute.
God, what a.
The only reason I don't want Lady July to die is because I still picture Lady July as Zed, and I don't want Zed to die.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Also, the only
and-
healer that we have.
yeah, she's
Yeah,
the only,
Burgess healed me.
she's
I
the
have
only healer
beg to differ.
that you have. Well, Burgess, I will say
Something like
that,
that.
just a little metagame on the Burgess
Yeah.
compared to Lady July, no comparison. in
No,
terms of
yeah, I
healing.
figured.
Yeah.
And
One's a
I
light
would
cleric.
love for Zed to come back and reprise that role.
Yes.
So
Right?
I am hoping that Lady July does not die, but that said.
I want to continue this adversarial relationship with her anyway.
Right? It's cute. It's like Sonny and Cher.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not that gross.
Farron doesn't know to sleep, so
Don't know what to say.
kind of like approaches Burgess, offers her a smoke. Chill
She-
time.
He says, what are your intentions?
Playing the part of Burgess.
Just kind of shrug, like, I don't know.
Are you going to be up for a little bit?
Yeah.
I'll be
Dude,
back.
Farron and Burgess.
And then she disappears in the darkness.
Okay.
Is it like dried mushroom?
Oh,
Get it.
That's the good stuff.
Mushroom tobacco.
Would you roll it or would you have a
sometime-
pipe?
Well, that was my natural inclination, so I think
Cool.
I rolled it. We'll roll a
There's
couch.
a thin version of kite that you can kind of roll up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Smoke it.
Smoke
I
it.
would hope that you're using dried leaves instead of thin versions of kite, but
Well, I know what I'm doing.
yeah.
And there's like a,
My name is Farron. I know what I'm doing.
yeah.
Favorite enemy is plants. Kill
And
whatever
there's
I
like
want.
there's a certain dried mushroom specimen that I'm just like sprinkling in there.
Help you sleep. No big
Yeah,
deal.
just a little, no, I don't need to sleep, but helps me,
Oh, you're an elf.
Yeah.
commune with the night a little bit.
So
Just right in that wave, just a little bit.
sometime in the evening, you hear a little bit of rustling in the distance,
Mm-hmm.
and then a thud,
Uh-huh.
even accompanied by a slight crunch of like leaves and twigs.
Mm-hmm.
And then alarmingly,
Too much math.
it's as if Burgess just appears on your right. Did I miss anything?
Okay, you and I need to have like a whistle or a call or like
No, we don't.
nothing. Okay,
Thanks.
but I, kinda
Even
like
NPC
that.
bards.
I mean,
What? A whistle?
Fuck everything.
yeah, just like something like just like something. So I know it's you. So I know I don't need to be running.
How about the
for
signal
hills.
is kill you?
I'm not worried about you killing me.
Oh.
Although, granted, maybe I
That's
should
a
be.
bad signal.
I understand the situation. You can't see me because it's dark, but I'm winking.
And by the way, she since the plane crash, Burgess has worn her face mask.
Okay.
So it doesn't cover her nose, but it covers everything below that.
Yeah. It's like, I'm asking for a call and response signal, so I know it's nothing else that could kill me in the Kashar Forest sneaking up on me. Or our group. I respect your freedom. I just want to make sure we shouldn't be running for the hills.
Well, you knew not to run a second later. It's fine. Everything's fine.
You're very helpful. Smoke?
She says.
Take a hit of this.
You just train.
She says. I don't think I could utilize that.
No? Have you ever tried? First one's free.
I'm gonna try anyway.
Literally
no, thank
can't
you.
inhale.
No, thank you.
Oh, okay. Got it. I have a salve.
How does Spike smoke?
I'll stop. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the muscles still work.
Oh, yeah.
You just
So
can't ingest it.
the night goes by uneventful. You wake up to a giant boar being spit roasted in the campfire.
With some chanterelles.
Oh, you're damn right.
It's
there's
stuffed
stuff in
with
there.
chanterelles. Yeah.
Oh, just deep in there.
Yeah, deep in
Fergus
there.
like, well, we got food for the day now. It's going to be a bitch to carry.
Yeah, we can carry
We got
it.
NPCs.
Burgess
Pack
says,
mules?
Burgess says, feel
said
free to
it.
waste
Photos?
whatever you need.
Uh,
The forest will take care of the rest.
We don't need
Yeah.
to kill unnecessarily. I think we can take food along with us. We're able-bodied people.
but
I'm
they, like,
But
I appreciate
good looking.
that.
Good looking.
I think Burgess actually walked away in the middle of, we don't need to kill unnecessarily. She just walked away.
And as she walked, Cass just kind of like what?
She's a loner. It's fine. We said thank you.
You want to carve this?
You're the cook. Will you show me how?
Yeah, I show
I
Ferg
think
how to carve a pig.
Fair to Kath is like, I like your girlfriend.
She's yours now.
Okay,
Midnight
wait,
smokes.
Can I get back to do you want to carve this? And right before you said, well, you're the cook, will you show me how? I think there was this like flash of just like in your mind's eye, like you carving it, which is basically red pencil of like,
That's what I pictured, just like hacking it.
yeah. And then it back to reality and you're like, you're the cook, will you show me how? Like it was a little,
Fergie's out. Ferg doesn't cook.
God. I get tired a lot.
So I'm gonna go to pull out my my cutting knives, and I'm gonna find the dirk that I found in the thing, and be like, "Oh yeah!" And I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Time, do you know anything about this?" And I'm gonna hand it to Time, and then I'm gonna like, while Time looks at the dagger, just like start showing you how to cut it, and then pass it off to you.
Cool.
Oh my god.
I'm very much like, "This is how you do it." Now it's your turn.
That same dagger.
Same.
Ferg's like, cool, you told me once,
The
Yeah.
eagle head.
I know anatomy.
Yeah.
The end of the pommel.
But I'm
the,
supervising. I won't hurt yourself.
crossbar of the
I think I know my way around
claws.
the knife.
Super sharp. Very, very well made.
So you see Time accept the dagger and kind of like, and then goes to like sip it like tea for a moment, and oh, okay.
Did you just kiss my what?
Cute.
And then the moment you look, you looked at Keth and did that whole head shake, and then you look down, and it's just a normal dirk.
Oh, I'm just confused. Standard. So
We
it's
found
like,
that in the ship.
Time gives us a few, like, it takes a few minutes and kind of like, sits down with her staff and kind of like moves the diamond over it and kind of like does an identify to see if there's anything to it.
So let's see.
Meanwhile, Ferg, your slices
I'm
look
gonna
great.
Say something. This is more cinematically. Like I'm not saying that this burns like a slot or whatever, but something breaks your concentration and you have to kind of start all over because Time realizes that she can no longer feel the presence of her twin brother, Lord.
Oh Lord.
It's father now. He's part of the clergy.
I mean,
Did you feel it yesterday while we were in the forest?
You always refer to him as Lord. You know what I mean? But
Time Lord.
Lord Time.
But
Now Father Time, because that's for this.
could she? You weren't looking for it yesterday.
Yeah, but this was a moment where I kind of like had some meditative time while I was like processing this, and like something reminded me of him, and I realized like something felt off.
Great description, by the way. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, she doesn't dwell on that for the moment. Like, I mean, she kind of just goes back to like the task at hand, but it's going to be like weighing on her. Like, we need to get out of the forest as soon as possible. I feel like I've lost my connection with my brother.
Just saying that out loud is hard for you to. Like you said the words, and then the last like, as soon as like the word possible, it kind of like retracted in on itself because. I mean, just as much as anybody does, is that there's no getting out of here. No one has ever reported anyone ever leaving the Kashar Forest.
Mm-hmm.
I came from here.
What's that?
I came from here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone
I know.
of non-orc lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Disturbing. Very disturbing.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's this little like pit of despair that kind of wells up inside of Time for like the next day. the boar does not taste as good. So there's that going on.
Fisher says we should all just marry orcs. Your kids will get out.
So
This
we'll get out through bloodline. It's all good.
Oh, great.
Your descendants will be free.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Now leave me, my son. Leave me to rot against this tree and disintegrate in the wolf's maw.
Okay, you took that to a really dark, weird place.
I liked it.
I was like, that sounds like a perfect way to die.
I think Fisher liked it too.
Great.
I don't know. I was thinking, like, yeah, leave me against this tree to, like, become one with the forest, not disintegrate and rot in a wolf's maw.
But
Yeah.
you could
both.
be
With the forest.
comatose in a hospital or have like this really great moment against a tree talking to your grandson.
Yeah, no, I'm all about the moment against the tree.
Just the wolf's maw is where Connor draws the line.
Okay.
Apparently, I'm not very goth
Fast
today.
death.
A swift.
I hope it's a white wolf so that storms out of the forest with my blood.
Oh God! Shanna got all your goth today.
Second day. After you have a little boar breakfast and store as much as you can.
The B&B.
The B&B, yeah. You end up moving along within your day. Someone roll me a d20. How about Ashleen this time?
Okay. I'm gonna kill us, guys.
No, you won't.
Is that
Oh,
17?
shit, we're dead.
It ends up being it
landed on where we are in the forest.
I'm not going to say uneventful day, but I'm going to say that both of you sort of like begin to navigate through a couple of.
You're really knowing your way around the forest. Good job.
Yeah, there was actually a roaming band of zombies that you had to sort of circumnavigate. It basically took like an extra hour out of your day because you had to go above this waterfall and back down below to just get past. Like we're talking like a roaming horde of zombies. I'm talking like 35 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Are they playing
no?
Are they playing zombie football?
They're playing.
I just want to say, Kev is taking note of where he saw them.
They're playing. We want to eat flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except there's no one to help play that game, and you guys just
Keth is taking note of where he saw them so he can let the next like tribe he sees know that there's like a band gathering.
Interesting. I think that you would probably know sort of a carving in a tree that you would probably mark to like signify that this area here there.
Because normally the orcs dispatch of the souls like to give them back to the mycelium that we find wandering from into the forest, but Keth knows that we can't take these on by ourselves.
I feel like orcs wouldn't carve into trees in the Kashar Forest, though.
We don't carve into mushrooms.
But you carve into trees.
Tree carving is not,
or rocks.
It doesn't harm the tree. It's just a way to communicate.
I'm kind of seeing it as like the traveling like symbols that you could see when people used to like hitchhike around the country and stuff like that, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't think it's like a bad thing. Like, yeah, good cook.
Mean dog. It's a real one.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but basically that.
River. Salmon delicious.
I don't want Bill to come back later and be like, yeah, horde of zombies, the same horde.
Yeah, no.
No, he wouldn't do that.
No, because it's going to be a larger horde.
It'll have grown.
Of ghouls.
Anything that anyone's doing within the second day that I should be aware of?
Foraging and collecting as we go, asking all the questions, gaining all the knowledge.
Time is like kind of quiet. As she's like, kind of sussing out that lost like connection or that feels to be like disconnected, and is kind of like trying to see what levels of connection, if any, is there. But like that's manifesting as like her moving through the forest and seeing like the possibilities of being lost in the forest, right? Like, so like you guys are on like a very narrow path. But is like seeing all of these like branching points of like just terrible things happening, and in that like she's very just insular and kind of just like following in line behind you and not wandering off as much as she does normally.
That's good.
Farron notices that Ferg will like sort of drop behind and like is picking flowers and pressing them in the pages of the Iron Tome. You don't know why, but
Because
they're a gentle soul.
We're not.
A gentle barbarian librarian.
I'm feeling the
Shut up.
like-mindedness, though. And I would like to think we're all kind of like talking about what you know about the Cantharella, like anything, you know.
Yeah, any sort of lore that we
Yeah.
have in our brains.
And also asking you about like when we find your people, what do we need to know? What is that going to be like? What is etiquette? Like, I hope you're prepping us.
Oh yeah, I'm prepping you guys. I don't know. You actually want me to like say anything, but
Prepping you for what?
for meeting the orcs.
Well, what do you want to tell them to get them ready?
Basically, that we don't let outsiders in like greatly, and that don't take any like coldness as personally. Like I'm friendlier than most orcs will be to outsiders because I chose to leave. You're coming into their space,
Well, but
which
you're-
is a different.
But you're half human, right? Sparky says.
Oh, yeah, Sparky.
I guess, accurate. But I wasn't raised with humans, so I don't really see myself as one as much.
It's a spectrum.
Yeah.
Do they treat you differently?
Well, they did in Falstein. And kind of in Rosex, too. But different
But do
than
they
you all treat me
But
anyway.
they treat you differently with your people.
Not that I ever realized.
They let you play in all the reindeer games.
Yes.
Okay.
You felt a little pushed towards the edges.
Well, I think it was one of those things, like, I don't know if anyone was, like, outwardly mean to me, but, like, I had to, like, try harder to prove myself in, like, a lot of different things, like, growing up, you know what I mean? Like, I had to be, like, the fast one or, like, that much stronger because, like, I wasn't an orc all the way, if that makes any sense, but I was kind of, like, raised by, like, my tribe's chiefess, so, like the whole tribe kind of,
got
like,
street
took me
cred.
in. Yeah, I had street
Yeah.
cred.
Yeah.
But definitely, like, you maybe occasionally, like, walk up on some people who, like, finish a conversation.
I think it was more something I internalized, like I felt it, than like people put on me. Like they weren't like actively like being like, oh, you're a half orc, you're like less than us. But I was like, oh, like I need to prove that I'm as much as you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Also, that's probably why Keth doesn't want to see himself as human that much either, because he tried so hard to be like fully with his orc people.
So you begin to head into the area that you know is most likely close to this way station.
Okay.
The reason why you know it is because you know that it's along the river's edge. And I don't think we have a name.
On both sides of the river.
I don't think we have a name for this river. Yeah, it straddles it.
No, I didn't name the river. I didn't name most of the rivers and lakes.
Straddle.
Do you think the orcs have, like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, how they would internalize nature and things, right? Like, would they have names for places, or would it be more, like, contextual, right? I don't know. Like, I'm just, there are certain cultures that, like, we feel a desire to, like, label and identify something, but, like,
I
how
think
would they
because
approach
of
it?
their spiritual connection to everything, which we kind of talked about this after your trip to Japan, that they would have sort of like kami for everything, a kami of a sort for everything, meaning that this small little lake, and for everybody viewing, we're looking at the map right now, so I'll just kind of hold the map up. But like this small lake here, and then the river that flows outward towards that. I feel like the small lake would have a name based off of the spirit name that they feel that
Or maybe even like what the
and then the
Mycelian calls it too. Like if they're directing us locationally through the forest, like
Right,
how
well-
does the Mycelian refer to locations?
Well, let's just say that that's how they land on a name for something, that the Mycelian calls it something specific, and that it comes to them in sort of and the orcs in some kind of a vision. And I totally love that. That being said, we'll make up the name for this lake and this river later. But you hear the river. You know that you're not that far away. You can hear that kind of like distant trickle.
That's good.
That distant rushing.
A little trickle.
And you're entering this area, and I would like you to roll a. Did you re-roll your Your importance?
I did.
Cool. Go ahead and roll a d20. And this is a straight up random roll. Honestly, you could roll any die. But do d20.
Oh, okay, I was just gonna like mix them all up and drop one. 11.
Okay, so you hear the trickle. You don't see anything present, but that does not surprise you because all of these way stations. And I almost feel like we should make up a different name for it, but like I get that way station is like relatable to a lot of people. This sort of, I would say.
Ooh,
Well, because it's
pulling it off of books recently, but like I like calling them crutches, maybe.
Crutches?
Crutch. So like where like children are like
crash.
Crash? Is it crash?
Yeah.
Like crash.
Well,
it's like children of the forest.
Here's
right?
let
Like,
me finish my thought. So it's basically an abandoned town that will eventually be populated at a later date.
It's just hard to see because it's like kind of half ruined and overgrown, right?
No,
Not this one.
it's completely camouflaged within a hallucinatory terrain.
Gross. I mean,
Gross? What?
Yeah,
Periphery bind.
Gross, cool.
Corvallis.
So yeah, no.
Fisher.
Beautiful valley.
So
Heart Valley.
yeah, but as per the druid spell, hallucinatory terrain.
Cool.
So basically, you get beyond a certain point. You lead them beyond a certain point, and what turns into a very sort of natural vista that's like bereft of any sort of huts, any sort of sign of civilization. All of a sudden, it's sort of like a layer gets peeled back from your vision, and now you see like, oh my god, there's like huts and lean-tos and yurts
Every tree houses.
that are sort of on one side and the other side of this river bisecting this huge sort of layout. But nowhere in sight do you see any sign of life, aside from nature, of course.
And each other.
Yeah, I know. Burgess is like, mission accomplished.
Not life.
So anyway, you are, you're here.
Okay, cool. I'm basically gonna like show you
Burgess
guys.
is like, this is it.
Yeah. This one's like my 6th favorite stop. All right, come check this shit out. And I'm gonna like take you guys all around and like show you the cool
This
stuff.
is where I carved my name. This is where I had my first kiss.
And I'm gonna show you where our like mini library is, but our books that we like keep like really like sequestered away. But you're gonna like notice when you go to look at them that a lot of them are like kind of chicken scratchy, and I like tell you, oh, we have our like young orcs copy the books and like
and
that's how they learn to read and write.
Incredibly disorganized. Incredibly disorganized.
Immediately jump at the Dewey guys.
Oh yeah, no, Ferg starts sorting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's
this is what
embarrassingly
Ferg
disorganized.
does for the rest of the day is
Yeah.
like organize this because it's only like one bookcase.
You kind of love it though.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh, finally.
I mean, organizing one bookcase is not that hard.
So I mean, is it only one bookcase? Or are there a
You
lot
said
of books?
small.
Oh, it's like a small like I wouldn't really see it as a bookcase, more of like a hidden stash somewhere, because like we value knowledge, right? We don't want our like that's a lot to us, even though it doesn't seem like a lot to you.
It also occurs to you like there's a lot of gaps, which tells you that maybe the tribe that once was here that is now no longer took a lot of their knowledge with them, or has somehow disappeared in many ways.
We move stuff around with us.
So I want to compel Ferg to like, through this process. So basically like to kind of go without sleep tonight, maybe like gain a little bit of exhaustion because you were spending time sorting and resorting and like finding the best part, like combination for the book. B, copying down elements into whatever like you think is relevant, like pieces of information to glean, and then just like reading as much of the knowledge, like really tapping into like the path of holiness is through the books, and you're just like, this is a familiar element through going through this forest all night, and you just like you burn the midnight oil and just stay up all night.
Yeah. Oh, and like adding and correcting errata and like adding marginalia. Like, no, it's actually this way.
And like at some point, I like hand you like a tablet, and I'm like, "I'll just help you stay awake if you want. You'll feel like $1,000,000 tomorrow morning."
Put this on your
Basically, give
tongue.
him speed.
Yeah.
That's not what I said.
Mushroom.
I said a tablet.
Before like I leave you to
Herbalist.
whatever you're doing, I'm gonna be like, there's a much bigger library in Cracks. It's probably not as big as the one you've come from, but I'll show you if we ever get to go
He's
there.
just gonna
Yeah,
feel,
totally.
He's just gonna feel good in the morning, so he's not gonna hold us up. It's gonna be fine.
He'll still be exhausted.
So
That's the compel.
we'll get to that.
You just gotta drink enough
But
water.
no, absolutely give yourself an inspiration point for that, and I'll get to the effects a little later. But yes, you stay up. How do I word this? Happily obsessing over this.
Yeah.
Just I mean,
A bunch of them are originals written by orcs that you would have never seen.
whether or not
I mean, most of it's about the
outwardly
forest,
you look
but
happy, I would imagine that you're in like a very comforted place of like bringing order to chaos in this.
Well, and this is
Only
the
'cause we
first
don't
time
talk to
anybody
people.
has like seen Ferg completely focus on something and like is clearly in their element and like knows exactly what goes where and what's going on.
Yeah.
And, like, where the fuck did Ferg get all those pens?
Pens.
There's one in your ear.
He's like,
One
make
in
it
your
rain, and like pens just everywhere.
Yeah.
all different
Okay.
colors.
So other
Which I actually
places
have.
that
Never found a pen.
Yeah.
other kind of like locations that you know are in this sort of way station that are abandoned, but regardless exist. You find that there are always these slopes that the orcs generally like. They move into an area and then they have their druids shape the land so that there are a great many areas in which experience no light, but also experience sort of like an area where light can actually like pierce through to warm the other side of a hillock, so that it is the best sort of medium for fungus and mushrooms to grow.
So we farm them. kind of.
Exactly, and they're known as the slopes of abundance, and so you
Check out my slopes of abundance, guys.
yeah, and the cool thing about this area is that you know that you will not lack for food, especially since people orcs have not been here for a while.
Yeah.
At the very least, within like 2
Also, we
probably more.
sustainably farm, Bill.
I mean, I would expect that from us.
Is
Just
it
kidding.
a sight to behold, akin to the chanterelles?
It is. There's a lot more variety in this area. I liken it to the sort of Peruvian potato crops, where they
Very hyper.
just throw seeds willy nilly, and a multi-purpose, multicolor crop of potatoes sprout up. Which are incredibly resistant to disease because you're not dealing with a monocrop. You're dealing with an incredible biodiversity that disease is sort of like a code that it actually tries to like break the code of like trying to get into the plant's sort of health and well-being. I'm not describing it that well, but essentially like it's a code that it can't break because there's so much biodiversity. That's why like the Irish potato famine happened the way it happened, is that there was only one code for disease to break, and it broke it actually quite easily. So so this case is it's a lot like that, except they're not like spreading seeds. They're probably druids that are just that are sort of like cultivating this crop of mushrooms somehow, some way. It's probably a mystery to most of you, even you.
I ain't no druid.
You ain't no druid, and you ain't afraid of no ghosts. So
Very hyper, guys.
there's also this very grand sort of hexagonal yurt that is known as the Vision Yurt, and it is very much where the elders go to experience new life through visions and reinvent themselves.
I show it to Time.
It is the legends say that this is where the wives of the chieftains met for the first time.
Like this specific yurt?
Not this specific yurt, but these vision yurts.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
a vision yurt. I feel like.
It's an
yeah.
homage to that, like
every
village has one kind of idea, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where they met for the first time, and that's when they decided that they were going to slit the chieftains' throats in their sleep to avoid basically running their race into extinction through war, through a war that they knew they were going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
What did you call it? The first act of penance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what the
Penance to the mycelium.
that the legend is that these places were the first places where the wives of the chieftains then did that and then took the place of the chieftains,
Mm-hmm.
and thus the orcs became a matriarchal society.
Definitely want to sit inside this.
Yeah, I mean it's got some crazy fucking powerful vibes.
I mean, yeah, I would just kind of.
I explained that history to you and just kind of like, I'm like, if you want to explore it, just be respectful.
She's already going inside.
Yeah.
She actually kind of wants to like meditate / connect with whatever like power she feels in that location, and like through that kind of wants to like focus on that connection with her brother, and kind of wants to like I don't know, like spend some time meditating on that and thinking like on an arcane level, like what could possibly have like severed that connection if it's a product of this place or something more sinister has occurred. Can I do like an arcane check or something along those lines?
We'll get back to you.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'm in there. I'm meditating. Get back to me.
totally. And then there is the place that I don't know. I would say that you maybe you all sort of randomly stumble upon.
Ferg hears about it later.
But you don't necessarily lead them to this place because it's not a place that you would ever like voluntarily lead someone to, unless of course it was necessary, and in that case they would have to be dead. And that is where orcs take their dead, and they allow a certain kind of a voracious voracious fungi to basically take apart the dead body and allow that body to basically dissipate into the earth.
Yeah, we give ourselves back to the mycelium.
What's that?
I said we give ourselves back to the mycelium.
Yeah, it's called the Death Meadow.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Dude,
Is it like where
That's
you
so
rotate-
meadow.
goth achieved.
What'd you say?
It's where you rotate your sustainable agriculture crops.
Exactly.
You guys do over here, and then
That's
we
our
plant,
compost
and then you
heap?
die over
Yeah.
here, and then we plant.
Exactly. Sounds
I
good.
mean, that sounds actually really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because then that compost is good for.
Actually, yeah. So remember we talked. So one, I've started re-listening to our episodes as we're putting them out now, and like remembering some of the old cool character bits. Like it's been really fun.
Yeah.
But since we've got like the year cycle on this planet, right, is like 8 Earth years. So like the growing cycle would be really intriguing with that, and like that'd be kind of perfect timing for like a decomposition element of like a graveyard kind of idea. If it's a natural graveyard, to like for the next growing cycle to come through, that'd be a good amount of time, as opposed to just like, oh, there's still bodies amongst our potatoes, right? Like it's
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah.
But like
Because it's actually like 8 years of it like being broken down by this like yeah. Fuck yeah, that's cool.
But the thing that you're actually really excited about, just because you got here kind of late day, you were all pretty hungry, and didn't really have a fire to like cook the rest of the boar that you had.
It was already cooked. We ate cold boar.
Yeah, I would say
Pork cut
Fireball.
sandwiches.
Yeah, but like
I'm
it's
not there.
pork and we need to at least heat it up to 180 degrees to make sure we kill all of the like bacteria that's inside the meat.
oh my god.
Just saying. It's pork.
But I mean,
Kath got their food handler's license.
Yeah, it's not like you properly dried it and like cured it and that kind of thing.
It wasn't
this is-
refrigerated, Ferg.
The ranger.
But it was only-
also says.
this is
Whole
only
conversation.
a day and a half after.
A day and a half of non-refrigerated pork. You don't want to heat it up.
I mean, if you guys had
It
talked
was
about
cooked
this,
over a fire
In
already.
Terra Sentia is a lot longer.
That hurt.
yeah. I mean, like if you guys
Smartening.
next time if we need refrigeration, just let me know. I can just freeze
It. I'm just being a tool. No.
I
We need
know.
the-
And but what I'm trying to say is that there's
sandwiches.
an easy meal as you find the stash of kuta that they left, that you can easily just eat like rations, essentially. That sort of like
Lembas bread.
yeah, exactly. It's I mean it's a little less magical than
Also
bread,
not
but it's
also not trademarked.
Let's hear what the
I think we can make some soup too. We'll make some soup with the pork.
As much foraging as you
We're
would
making
otherwise.
a stew. Yeah.
yeah.
I think I have some foraging stuff for being an Outlander too. Like,
I appreciate how much you care about our culinary experience on this trip, though.
I want you guys to be well fed.
I know. We've got drugs, we've got food,
Dude, we're like set for a great camping trip.
we've got knowledge, we've got stories.
We've got a vampire protector.
Don't know that.
A metagaming.
No, Burgess just like
A.
really likes that to remain.
Oh yeah.
You
Sorry.
know.
Keth doesn't.
Something-
We don't talk
know.
about it like we don't talk about the fact that Farron has wings.
Yeah.
What would you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have
What?
to
I
make.
didn't say
I'm gonna say that
anything.
Farron's gonna punch. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we don't talk. Just like we don't talk about the way that Farron has rings. What'd you say? Hey, Farron. How's it
Flutter,
going?
flutter, flutter.
So, let's go to time. So you were hanging out in the Vision Yurt, and you were attempting to connect with things that weren't just readily sort of available to you. Go ahead and make an Arcana check for me.
I roll a 19, which is a 25 on my Arcana check.
So,
That's what the dice look like.
Hell yeah.
so
Gross.
Yeah.
in this place, you sense a great movement that happened. The only problem is that you don't know if it happened recently or long ago. You're almost positive that it did not happen in the future.
Okay.
And as you're thinking about things, and as you're extending your senses, and maybe casting a few sort of minor enchantments to sort of like adjust the temperature to like a temperature that like you can think best,
Mhm.
you know, warmer, colder, whatever time needed at that moment. You start to picture yourself walking out of the Kashar Forest. Right? This is sort of like a mind's eye thing. You're walking out of the Kashar Forest, and a familiar voice calls your name, and you are absolutely certain that this voice is Morel's voice. And you're attempting to stretch your senses beyond the Kashar Forest, but the voice is coming from back in the Kashar Forest, and you just can't resist. Like, you have to follow Morel's voice. And
Been
you
there.
think of your brother, and you think of Morel, and you think of your brother again, and you, when you look back at the Kashar Forest, it's almost as if like you gain kind of a like, wow, you're almost like viewing this as your familiar for a second there, and you're viewing this as like a bird's eye view in a sense, and you can see the whole of the Kashar. But there's interesting thing where there's at some point in the kind of middle-ish of the forest, there's this sort of like vacuum effect that's happening, this black hole effect that's happening, that's kind of like right in the middle of the Kashar Forest, that's like whirlpooling into nothing. And then you follow her back in, and then you kind of snap out of your vision. And there's something that's like really, really evident, really palpable, is that there's some kind of a barrier that exists that makes it very, very it just won't let you leave the forest. And you actually know why. Not why, but what's creating it. The mycelium is creating this barrier.
Something to do with that center.
You're not sure. You're really not sure. I mean, you saw what you saw.
The heart.
I would like you to make a perception check, however. And let's see, intelligence. Yeah, it would actually be like an intelligence-based perception check, and I really do mean exactly that. So this is not investigation.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is perception, but it's intelligence-based.
Okay.
Don't you have like really high intel?
Yeah, no, this works out well. I'm proficient at it, right? So
You're proficient in perception. Cool.
I would like to use inspiration.
Cool.
Yeah, I got a lot. I am like really, because of the location that I'm in, like I'm in this nexus of energy and things that is like helping me focus and is really like bringing my attention. Right. That is going to be a 26.
This would be a soft 20.
So
Still 26 though.
the thing that that your brain can't really wrap its head around is that when you're actually like viewing a black hole.
Oh yeah.
And
as of yesterday.
And all that energy is actually kind of like being and even let's take something a little bit more relatable, a maelstrom, like a funnel of water,
it's real hard.
a whirlpool,
Maelstrom.
how it's all funneling down. Okay,
The accretion disk copy.
what's that? So it's instead funneling up. What you saw was funneling up.
So from where? From the black hole funneling upwards, or what do you mean? Okay, interesting. Is it spiraling? Like, should it be a disc?
Yeah. Well, I don't. I'm not going to answer that.
Right. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm seeing drawing connections and parallels, whether they're
Could
accurate
it
or
be a
not.
disc?
You don't ask me about my disc.
Should it be?
Just being
76 messages from the control room. Good lord.
just the laugh back there.
Sorry.
But the one thing that you didn't get out of any of this was any sign, feeling, or indication of your brother.
Oddly enough, I'm very disturbed by this, and I think this is going to be affecting me. But she feels that she has somewhat of an answer, as much as she is literally I'm going with the flow kind of element. This is really disturbing because this is the first time in her life that she's not been connected to Lord, and that's frightening to her. I mean, in terms of the most. I'll leave this alone because I think I'll role play it in a moment in a different way. But beyond that, which I'll talk about in a moment, she feels a bit like there's a purpose. She needs to go investigate the mycelium. This is what she's been looking for in terms of a way to connect back with the universe, connect back with the mycelium. That she would do anything to feel connected to the universe again. In this way. Yeah. And she feels like this is a very palpable connection and she's here for a reason, drew her down. We are with the right people for this. This feels like a nexus of things that are happening. And she's not sure why she's disconnected from Lord, but the answer is towards that center. Morel led her to this. And she's feels a little more centered because of that. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what she takes away from the Vision Lodge.
In that moment, I'd like everyone to make two things. One, and I'm assuming you guys are all, a lot of y'all are kind of split up and sort of doing your own thing for the most part. I'm saying that some of you, I think Kelly and Liddy and all are still staying in groups and whatnot, and aren't leaving or whatever. But you're organizing stuff. You're in the Vision Yurt.
I'm looking around at the farm.
There you
making
go.
stew.
Making stew. So I'd like you all to make perception checks. That's first and foremost.
And then initiative.
I don't perceive well, guys.
Let's take that first.
Oh,
19.
finally. Also 19.
23.
8.
Real perceptive,
19?
surprisingly.
You're really focused.
I'm real focused on my
What'd you say?
stew. I got an 8.
8?
19.
You guys all got super high.
It's weird that Ferg is
say
perceiving
19?
anything
Okay.
while reading and
God damn it.
sorting.
So
on the
everybody,
drugs, man.
everybody but Kev.
I'm cooking.
I know. Well, all of you are busy in certain ways.
You don't look away from a room.
But for example, when you come out of your vision and when you're sort of looking at the grove and kind of gathering mushrooms to eat or whatever, and you're organizing, there is something that kind of bubbles up in the back of your senses that occurs a lot like the description that Theron had with hearing how the Cantharella communicated to him, and it's not it's just distract. Like it's nothing like language.
That like low grade monolith from 2001 Space Odyssey.
Like really, except like sometimes the volume goes in and out. No. It's never that like high pitched because it's just so gratingly slow.
Does it feel like does time recognize this as sort of like a communication attempt, like a language that's happening, sort of?
Maybe.
Okay, so Farron.
Cast comprehend languages. I don't know if that helps, but
so we'll get to that in a second. Because the next thing I'd like you to do is everyone to make a Constitution saving throw.
roll initiative.
I thought he was going to say that too.
That's not good.
Oh dear. I mean, you can use that inspiration.
Everybody drink.
Still up to you.
I should
Oh,
probably do that.
critical miss.
Critical miss.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna re-roll that sucker.
Here's one of your inspiration.
Oh, yeah, I am totally doing that.
No, it's 15 because of the way we do inspiration.
Oh,
if
because
you're
you
less,
get 10.
if you're less than 10, you add 10. If you're 10 or less, you add 10.
Yeah.
15.
19.
19.
I keep forgetting that's the way we do it.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go ahead and leave myself at a total of 5.
Okay.
I have inspiration, but I want to see what happens.
So
Brave. For the wizard.
Yeah.
everyone starts to feel a sort of a sickening movement in their stomach.
4. We didn't return to 4.
I told you guys, 180 degrees.
It got to 180. We only have to reheat it to 135.
Guys, can we use Celsius, please?
I don't know Celsius very well.
And you know, I would say that maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ferg, but I would describe that like the way you get past this is not only like just sort of like, you know, being resolute inside of your own like physicality, but also like staying focused on the task at hand. You're cooking. You're just like, okay, just keep cooking, just cooking. You know, like you're, you know, gathering your things. You all push down that sort of like horrible, sickening urge.
To Ralph?
And also there's that sort of dizzy feeling of like hearing that voice in the background. You're not affected from that as much, but like you specifically, because you didn't get that perception check, that sort of like slow motion communication.
I
very,
feel like
very slow.
Ferg, like, pushes it down, but there's definitely a like rumbly belch and spit.
Yeah. Oh, horrible! It's horrible.
Dude.
And when you spit up something very like you actually hock a semi-solid loogie,
Ew.
and you spit it out, and it's bloody.
Oh.
Bloody hell.
Fine.
So, this is fine. Everything's fine.
No.
I know.
Not if the barbarian hawks a bloody loogie.
What did you roll again?
With a 17 con.
I know.
So something happens.
We all use inspiration except for him.
That I'm just gonna flat out say that it's reminiscent of the Alien movie. There's some it's like moving around in your stomach. There is a very visible bulge that's happening in your abdomen, and it begins to move up and it pushes up against your xiphoid process right at the edge of your sternum, and then
that's so
starts to push against your chest. It feels like the most immense amount of heartburn you've ever felt in your life. And suddenly you can't breathe, and you start to like do that sort of like cat hairball thing, and there's this large lump that happens, and all of a sudden your whole neck is swollen, except it's not swollen. Something's coming out of it. And you begin to give birth out of your mouth.
I don't think it's called birth at that point.
It's totally called birth at that point.
It would be called emesis.
And
Time is oddly detached for a moment, and is like, oh, this is the word that this would be. And then it goes back to internally screaming, intensifies. I would say Junebug is going to, like, scrambling to go find someone.
right.
Yeah.
Is Junebug still a hawk?
Yeah.
So not really scrambling, but
Swooping.
Oh,
yeah, that's better.
I've seen hawks scramble.
I don't think hawks can really.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they kind of do like birds kind of hop. They can't really like scramble. You
in
know?
the air, though.
Oh, that's fair.
Yes, we'll roll fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was picturing on the ground. When you think scramble, you think like a scurry.
Nope.
When's the last time you watched the intro to Lady Hawk?
It's
Never.
been a while.
Every day.
It's so good.
So,
I don't know what that is.
No.
So you suddenly
Matthew
can
Broderick
take a
and
deep breath.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Suddenly you
I'm interested.
and you're choking. There's a lot of like bile and like pseudo vomit lacing your throat, and it's burning in an acidic, just horrifying way. You're coughing, you're choking, but before you can even like, get used to that, you realize that you have expelled something out of your mouth. And it's moving.
Yep.
And it's quickly
fire.
forming into something vaguely, I don't even want to say humanoid, but it can traverse.
Does that have a cane and a top?
No.
So it's like a head with spider legs.
No. It
said it was like Alien.
doesn't have a head.
Oh, not like
It doesn't
Space
have spider
balls.
legs. It has
I was just
maybe
thinking it.
2 or 3 legs.
Or 3?
Basically, what you feel like
That's
you've
not a
just
third leg.
expelled is some kind of a fungal growth of some kind.
That's,
Better
And
at the end?
I guess.
Is this from eating the mushrooms?
and
Sucks.
and it basically you spores everywhere all over you.
It's not my first time.
And I need you again to make Constitution saving throw.
Sportacular.
And then we're going to roll initiative.
You son of a bitch.
Just the two of you? I think we should. Well, I mean, I don't know.
I feel like we're all gonna hear screams.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we, it's like one of the things that we were reacting to, then we would need to roll
Now when's
initiative.
the hawk going to find us?
Damn it. 9.
So
Time's gonna get body snatched.
Fuck you guys. I kind of. This is terrifying to me. I'm 100% using inspiration. That's fun.
For your
Reroll on that, huh?
for your initiative.
No. For the second Constitution save.
Oh,
Because-
okay.
Hard to pass.
Fair.
Whatever the
You
hell
got this.
just happened to that noise. That is a 19 plus 3, 22. I blow it back at it.
No, that's
Yes,
not
I know.
That's fucking great.
I need this for comedic relief. It hurts. This is terrifying.
So for a brief moment, a couple of things happen. One, that painfully slow, droning communication kind of speeds up to your own brainwaves, and it just says this kind of over and over again until it just kind of like a record just kind of slowing down. But it says for a few turns, let them in, let them in, let them in. And then at the exact same time, you feel yourself pacify for a split second, but then you shake yourself out of it. What'd you get for initiative?
1. Shut up, closet boy.
Does that count? I'm gonna drink anyway. It's not a miss, but whatever. It's a 1.
Okay, so I go first. And
What did you roll, Bill?
I rolled a 8.
Hold on a second. Man.
Good luck.
Oh.
I mean, it's just me and time
Miss you.
currently right now. So
How about June?
We're all gonna have to get involved because there's gonna be screaming and there's gonna be running.
Junebug's at an 11.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, no, I fully support that because your familiar goes on a separate.
We can always roll in when we get there.
Okay.
When we get.
I just want to have it all like.
Since you described that, Bill, I mean, is there any way for me to like outside of my turn do like an insight check on that at all, or is this
For what?
like it's saying there like am I getting any like malevolent, benevolent like sense from this thing, like what it was saying when I was like hearing
It's
it?
at this point, it's actually coming at you and attempting to envelop you.
Yeah, nope.
Bro,
so
it
yes,
spawned
you
from
sense
your neck.
malevolence.
Yeah.
But in terms of what it was saying, honestly, you have no context for like. You don't know what it's talking about. And then it let's see, it definitely attacks you.
Son of a.
Are you hit by a 12?
Yep.
Okay, so
What do you expect?
I know, mine's only 13. I'm just being an ass.
Hey, you're only 13.
would you do me a favor and roll me 2d4?
Yes. Yeah, I picked on armored movement.
So, Tom, you take 3 points of poison damage.
I usually roll higher on
it begins
D4s.
to
I'm
start
glad.
wrapping around your body. You pull away in time, but there is this like, you pull away and you can kind of feel something that's like sort of invading your body, like a very very potent poison.
Great.
Gross.
And actually, it was Junebug's turn first. So Junebug, did we?
It goes
describe
and
that?
finds somebody.
Yeah, okay,
we didn't
cool.
describe it yet, but it's like whoever you're out in the farm, so you're probably pretty close. Like now, how do I?
It's not going to
go
be a
away?
close far thing. It's going to be a random roll thing.
But I would also say, about Tom,
It's screeching, by the way.
once
Yeah.
Farron is cognizant that he's getting this low-grade communication that he's felt before, he wants to run to see if anyone else is feeling that. Like, he wants to find other people to be like, you guys getting this?
Interesting. So we'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
Junebug, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Goes straight to the random direction of Ferg.
And Ferg has like stepped outside of where this library cache is and is like feeling gross and like, what is
my
this
pen?
thing?
I mean, you all but puked at this
Yeah.
like weird solid thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we step on and grind into the dirt because, as one does with a loot, you have to be polite. You don't want somebody else to step in it.
That's very true.
And then Junebug's like flapping in our face, and we're like,
Whoa, not yet. Not yet. She hasn't gotten to you yet. Damn it. She heads that direction. And then I did what I did. Time, your turn.
Okay, so this thing is like attacking, trying to do something really messed up that I really do not like. Hard pass. I'm just saying. How big is this thing?
It's roughly the size. It's as wide as the colossal dragon at the end of the table. Which, sorry viewers, you can't see that, but colossal dragon at the end of the table, and it's double as tall.
That came out of you.
Basketball.
I can unhinge my jaw. It's fine.
it
Probably grew as it came out.
squishy.
Yeah, it's liquid in other.
It was like
gross.
It was a sack that popped and then.
gross. Throw up length.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say, if you said no, I would have objected.
I already went there.
That's great.
gross.
I bought property.
All right, so
I own that house.
instinctively, she's really trying to get away from this thing. And when it was wrapping around me, I mean, did it feel like there was a lot of strength to it, or? Because I mean, I kind of broke away from it. I'm just kind of getting a sense from like what it felt like when it was trying to wrap around me.
How strong are you? What's your strength?
13.
not gonna be able to get there in time.
About as strong as you are.
Okay, interesting.
No pun intended.
Also perfect. We'll see how this goes. So,
Actually, no, I apologize. I take that back. A little less strong.
Your legs are longer than
Cool.
I thought.
I'm stretched out, but
Still-
I'm less stretched.
girl.
You can stretch. You're fine.
All right, so Time kind of just does this instinctive thing where she's like, nope, get away, and like does that same sort of like gather the wind around her and shoves it back with gust, and it needs to make a strength saving throw, which it rolls a 9.
Okay.
Yes.
So DC 14.
Yes, and it's
+7 is strength.
pushed back. I mean, you realize that if you hadn't waited 2 seconds, it would have gotten into a position where the wind would not have worked. Like that's just what you saw.
Yeah.
In like a flash.
Like I waited till like it was kind of like fully kind of flushed out a
It
little
sort
bit
of
and caught it
expanded
at that
itself.
moment.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So pushing it back 5 feet, I then take my movement and bail out the door of the lodge. So because it's not getting an attack of opportunity on me, it's kind of my goal right now. Right, because I pushed it back 5 feet with gust.
Yeah.
Right. Got it. So and then you get the hell out of Dodge. You move 30 feet out there.
Nope.
Shut the door.
And then shut the door.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But then move
There
back.
is no door to shut.
Great. Move out of Dodge. Real. Yeah. And then just help. As
Help!
loud as possible.
Roll to see if I hear for help.
Yeah, right.
That was a good gif. Fisher sent us a gif.
So it's Junebug. So Junebug, basically, I would say because you're concentrated on like what you just expelled from your body, it startles you that she just lands right on your shoulder, and
Yeah, that would be startling.
yeah,
Do I?
and like kind of painfully digs into
Think
your
of
shoulder.
Janice.
Not on purpose.
Yeah,
but, like,
we're not paying attention to that. We're also wearing a leather coat, so it hurts, but it's not like bloody.
yeah.
It's not trying to hurt you.
Yeah. So that happens. So we're like, okay, why Junebug's not supposed to be
It
here?
pecks you once on the head and then flies away again.
We're gonna follow it. Do we also hear Time yelling for help?
I would say probably not.
So,
No, you got a good passive perception. Wait, you were yelling for help? Is that what you?
Yeah, I
did?
left the building and yelled for help.
screaming.
Yes, you do hear Time.
Cool. Double timing it towards Time's voice.
assistance of anyone who is nearby.
Okay.
And like red pencil out.
Currently, you've been working all day. You right now have 1 level of exhaustion.
That was what you got your inspiration for.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But the only affects saving throws right now, right?
Nope.
No, it only affects ability checks.
Okay, yeah.
So anything in the skill / like ability check.
Yeah. So yeah, double time towards Time.
Got it. It's going to take you a little bit. Junebug is a very fast flying creature.
How big is this town?
It's sizable. It would be considered a small town.
Also, you move in 30-foot increments.
Definitely not like bigger than a village.
Yeah.
This is
Like
a-
it's gonna take you 20 minutes to walk across it.
ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Then we get to. Oh, and now you can roll into initiative.
Do we hear anything?
16.
Actually, that's a good question. So, you do not, based off of your passive perception.
Oh. Cooking.
Veyron, you mentioned that
My stew's
you
bubbling real loud.
No, hold on a second. You mentioned that you would have
I would have
wanted,
been looking.
like that sort of like level of communication. You have been looking for someone. Okay, so this is perfect. So
Probably even preferably Time.
you have. Well, this is perfect then. So you have that sort of like, oh my god, I gotta find Time, and then you hear Time scream, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
So you head to that you basically head that direction. Fergalicious. Perfect.
Fergalicious.
So yeah, you start moving. Okay, so then the creature moves 20 feet towards you. So right now, How far did you push it back?
I pushed it back 5, and then I did my full movement out.
Got it. So you were next to it. You pushed it back 5 feet. You moved 30 feet. So it moves. It double moves up to you.
Dislike.
But it cannot do anything.
Yeah, damn right.
So it's right there.
Cool.
And you can see, oddly enough, that this creature has a bunch of very large, what looks to be like pores on its skin, and they all are making these little like suckery sort of. They're not making any sounds, but they're moving. Like they're just opening and closing very rapidly.
This came from inside me. That's great.
Inside
and
of you.
I am done with that time too.
Oh God, no. So I saw how like quickly or lack of quickly this thing moved at me,
Mm-hmm.
and I disengage and move 30 feet away from it. Do I hear anybody like?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm like
You can absolutely do that.
cool. How close?
It does attempt to lunge at you, which is too slow.
Yeah. God, it's in my mouth. It was in my mouth. So is Junebug like within 100 feet of me ish?
No.
Okay. Did I get the sense of which direction Junebug was going when it? Because like
Also no, because you were inside.
No, we have 100-foot telepathic communication at least before it got out of that, but I don't know if I was paying attention enough. But
Okay, I'll give that to you. Go ahead and make a perception check.
cool. 12.
No.
Okay. Then I choose a random direction and just move 30 feet that way.
Okay, that's fair.
Unless I knew where anybody was. I move like if I knew where anybody was, I'm moving that direction. If not, I'm doing a random direction. So
Ferg's not
because
yelling
time's
at
kind of a
us, so-
space case, I'm just going to say random direction. You really don't like inside of this.
I can't remember when
I'm
people
cooking in the
were
middle
where.
of town. So.
When people were where, and when people were
And
where,
when I am.
and also like you just expelled this thing out of your fucking body.
Yeah.
It's like really shake. I mean, you're doing a really good job of being like, God damn it, like this thing came out of me.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're way more focused on like that level of trauma.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be kiting this thing in a circle until somebody gets hurt.
Totally.
And then reiterate, help! Loud again.
Yeah.
Roll into initiative.
Can I make like another perception
17.
to see if I'm hearing
I will
the
say
yelling?
go ahead and roll into initiative, and that's what you'll do until you
Hear it?
gain a certain level of.
It's probably really quiet for us.
They're
unfortunately.
red.
I got a 9.
Yeah, this area is big.
9.
9?
Yours was an 8, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And those NPCs are just
Okay,
somewhere.
Farron, you
Circle jerking somewhere.
you begin to move,
hand.
and you do realize, like 10 feet into your movement, that you could probably make better time if you were airborne.
Yeah, I'm going to say that Farron's going to attack the DM now. You don't talk about his wings.
Yeah.
Well, I've only heard time screaming,
Correct.
right? I just run faster.
You run. Okay, you double move.
So
What's up?
For delicious.
There's nothing compelling wise to make him bring out his wings.
yeah,
The opposite.
yeah. I was like, we all know about it.
Do all the NPCs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
So here's an interesting analogy
knows
that
about
I
what?
can draw off that. So
Nothing.
I used to have a friend. I won't name drop him, but he's back in Michigan, and he had a you call that like a bum foot, like a stump foot.
Clubfoot?
Clubfoot. He had a clubfoot, and he wore a prosthetic. For all intents and purposes, this guy was like a beautiful human being. Just like, but he was so self-conscious of that.
Yeah.
Everybody fucking knew.
Yeah.
Everybody knew about his clubfoot. Nobody cared. The only person that cared was him. And that's how I kind of relate to your.
Farron got mocked a lot for it, but he's also not the strongest individual.
Yeah.
And he takes a lot of pride in the fact that he's made it on his own. He's said, like,
Right.
fuck you to everybody that mocked him. He's, like, been, like, the cast, like the unfavored of his family.
The dude.
Which, like, it's kind of interesting because it had his family been better to him, he might have been a stuck-up Lycanstep. But because he was
Those
flawed.
stuck-up
Gotta say that
Lycanstep.
10 times fast.
But, like, because he was flawed, like, he was just, and like, mocked and, like, cast out of kind of his beautiful social circle that was, like, perfect. He went and did his own thing, and he takes a lot of pride that he was able to, like, learn how to climb and range and, like, do everything without the thing that he doesn't like to talk about that's, like, very triggering. And so it's almost like he denies it in himself a lot. Like, he's like, he's like, I can run that fast. You know what I mean? Like, I can do it without that thing that I don't like to think about. But his, like, jerk reaction, like, if he's falling out of something, he's gonna just
There's
instantly,
no other option.
He's just instantly just like grabbing out, you know. It's like, there's gonna be moments like that for sure.
Berg, what are you doing?
How far away are...
Too far to get this round.
Cool. Double move.
Okay, got it.
Just like raring to go, weapons ready.
I hear you. Junebug.
Then goes off looking for others, probably.
Okay.
Or probably actually goes back to me first. I would say, like, Junebug tries to double moves back to me to, like, check on the situation and make sure it knows where, like,
and also
close enough to
like,
communicate with me and then go elsewhere.
I feel like Junebug would clearly like want to
Showing
lead
you
for
where,
you go this direction before I go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Well, and yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point that I was just about to make. Perfect. So Junebug flies over to you, does a little, like, circle overhead, and then is about to dash off in another direction. Keth, make a perception check.
Yes. That is a 19, Bill.
Wow, you hear some screaming, and you hear some cawing. And you kind of put both together. Oh my God, time's got to be in trouble.
I'm gonna look at.
But the stew.
I'm gonna look at Sparky and be like, "Stir this kid. You're in charge." And I'm gonna leave her with all the NPCs, and then I'm
Burn
gonna book it
herself.
in the direction of where I was hearing. Well, I mean, Lady July's not gonna let her burn herself, but she's still in charge.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Keth trusts her the most
he's cooking.
out of everybody in this group.
She pulls a newt from Aliens, and she just goes.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I double move 80 feet towards the scream.
Mostly.
I picture it semi-central, but I don't know how far I have to go.
It'll fix it.
After
know, but
Keth is myself. So it moves up. It moves up to you.
Yeah, oh God.
But not quite to you. Right? It's still got that 10 feet to and you see that it kind of, like, slows down, and you think you're safe to a certain degree, and then all those little, like, overly sized pores just open up all at once.
No.
I need you to make a Constitution
Son
save.
of a bitch.
Is it saying that?
It is not.
Yes, 17.
You for a second, you just want to sit down and just relax
No, I do not.
for a second,
Yep.
and then survival instinct kicks in. So it's 10 feet away from you, and moving towards you. Time.
Okay.
No time.
Yeah. Okay. And she's like, I'm on with this. And
We should be yelling for time. That way she knows which direction to be going. None of us have, like, said anything back. Sorry.
Ferg doesn't start screaming until there's somebody to be afraid of them.
great.
What have you done to my back?
Made a sucker.
You made the
I was-
Audi
So screw this noise. Like it puffs out at her, and she kind of, like, takes her staff that she's been kind of, like, running with, and just, like, sidesteps this thing that, like, hit her, and she kind of, like, I don't know, like, rushed off real fast, and then just spins it around and goes no, and fires a chromatic orb at it of fire.
Damn.
Kind of screw this thing.
Cleanse it.
Yeah, like, no, burn it.
Burn it with fire.
Burn it with fire. Dislike all of this. 18 plus a lot.
That's definitely a hit.
Yeah, you're damn right it is.
And the only thing that you're trying to slough off is that when all those spores hit you, and you you have the urge to sort of like just kind of lay down and sort of relax. That voice kind of like echoes in. It speeds up to your level of communication again, and it just says, "Let them in. Let them in. Let them in."
So creepy. I love it.
And I just say, give me a choice. Sent. That is
What'd you
going.
cast on them?
No,
Chromatic orb.
Chromatic orb.
Oh, God,
but
yeah.
firework.
Yeah.
12 points of fire damage.
12 points of fire.
And I was like, ask consent.
It smacks into the little pustule.
Yeah.
Used a branch
Does it
to
pop?
burn dice.
It does not. It keeps on coming.
Hell yeah.
Burn it to the ground.
It's like the fungi
Burn it with
energizer
fire.
bunny. Here it comes.
It's your dice now, though.
So,
Your burn to the ground dice.
Fungergizer bunny?
Fire
Fungergizer
dice.
bunny.
Hell yeah.
Fungal
So I bought
geyser.
these in a
Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, Fungergizer made it gross.
I know, I'm excited.
So it's still
Thank you.
10 feet away from me, and then I move another 30 back from it.
Yeah. So it's now 20 feet.
40.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, I'm being real clear about this. Now I know your ranges. Nah.
No.
The range?
So, Farron.
How close am I?
You're
Am I within longbow distance?
not even within sight distance yet.
Okay, run double.
Fire blindly.
Okay, well, first of all, you run around a bend and up on a ridge, and that was 30
Hello,
feet, and
anybody?
you can see time and this, like, you don't even know what it is, but it's kind of following time, and it's clear that time is, like, backing away from it, like a horror movie.
Okay.
Dude, Layla's that shit.
And you do have a shot, but it's so far away that you would fire at disadvantage. But you can take a shot if you
That would be cool.
Fly toward.
Fly towards it. Be cool.
How desperate does the situation look?
Well,
I'm screaming, backing away, and shooting fire at it.
Yeah.
Alone.
Alone?
Alone.
Like
I think-
totally alone?
Yeah.
Yes.
totally alone.
Okay.
Do it. Take the shot.
I'm just throwing that out to you.
So-
like, we are not there.
So
no one is there.
I kind of like swan dive off this ridge while like, and I already have my longbow drawn, and I swan
You're gonna
dive
Legolas
while
this shit.
taking a shot as I glide inconspicuously and shoot.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you let your wings go?
Yeah,
Got it.
I glide down, shoot.
I'm gonna say that it takes the rest of your movement to actually get your wings out. So you're basically getting ready to like sort of like hang glider, sort of like down.
Inconspicuous.
But you get the shot off first, and then that's when your turn's gonna end. Because it's basically like you moved your movement, and then you take your action, which is your shot, and then that'll end your turn. So then the next turn you'll be able to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't know if I'd do it that way.
Yes.
It's just a limitation to the round, essentially.
Real cinematic.
But you're like way too big
I
wings.
just wasn't
like,
sure how much
come out.
movement I had. It's cool.
In terms of like
What was
your flying speed.
Just in terms of like movement from, but I guess I moved to get up the ridge.
Yeah. So you move to get up the ridge. You fire a shot. Go ahead and make a shot at a disadvantage.
Okay.
I believe in you.
Those are both good.
Yeah.
And then plus 7. So 16.
16. So roll damage.
Yeah. Finally, I feel like I have support because an
I
arrow
meant-
comes out of nowhere.
I meant to cast Ensnaring Strike, but I didn't. But that was in my head.
That would be a
But I
bonus
don't know
action?
if well, it's a, yeah. So if I hit.
Well, we'll just say yeah. Like,
Okay,
it's-
I did plan on
Yeah.
but I just didn't.
This isn't a big bad fight, so
Okay.
I'm flexible.
No.
14. Oh, wait. Sorry.
You already
Thank
hit
you.
it.
Thanks.
You hit it.
Yeah. He was saying no because he knew I was rolling the wrong die.
So do I have to
got
make,
this.
do I have to make a
You're doing-
saving throw or be ensnared? Is that how that works?
Well, I have to roll for damage. I have to damage you
Good.
first, and then I did hit you, and then so you have to save on a
Strength.
strength saving throw.
What's the DC?
I fail.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So then you are ensnared.
Okay, so we'll get to that in a second. Roll damage.
Okay, 3 plus 3, 6.
Nice. 6 points. So and you did 12, right? time?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so, okay. So it's still alive. Basically, your arrow hits it. It all but pins it to the ground, and it actually begins to arch its... you don't even see... You can't see this from a distance. It's like so far away, but this is what you see. This is from your point of view. So an arrow hits it, kind of like from up above, and you don't even have time to see where, like that's Ren's arrow, and you don't have time to see where Ren is, but the arrow strikes it. It pins it to the ground for a second. It pulls itself up, kind of arching its sort of its body without bones. And then the moment it tries to sort of like skitter towards you again, there are all of these look like thorns and vines that just sort of like latch it to the ground and then like pull it and solidify it to the ground essentially, making it immobile. Nice work. After Ren is Fergalicious.
It just says saving throw and 1d6.
Definitions. Make
Um,
And 1d6, so it does 1d6 extra damage.
Piercing damage at the start of each of its turns.
Oh shit! So go ahead and roll that. Sorry,
But it's at the because you just went. Did you just go?
No, it'll be
you
at the
just
start of Bill's turn.
Start of
Yeah,
my turn.
exactly.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like spiritual. Yeah. Okay.
Will 30 feet get me to this thing?
No, it will not. You can make a full round action, and it will get you basically within the vicinity, within 5 to 10 feet. It was a long way. This is very long ways away.
So
That bird made it.
It flew. As the crow flies. Alright.
Hawk, thank you.
Maybe.
Yeah, flight's a little bit different here. There's a lot of weird impediments.
Oh, gotcha. So more of a straight line is easier.
Absolutely.
But curve.
Oh my
That makes
God,
sense.
yeah.
So we're gonna run up almost a full double movement, but see this thing that looks like a loogie the size of Sparky, and skid to a stop about 15 feet away from it.
Sparky sized loogie.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, and I'm sure the skid is maybe followed by the what?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Do you have a flash of what you stomped on with your foot?
Yeah, a screaming "What the fuck is that?" at time, and time screams back. I don't know.
I don't want to hug whatever was in my mouth.
we're gonna bonus action rage on this
Swallowed
turn.
it. This turn, got
Still in us.
it. Junebug.
Yeah, it is.
So having successfully brought somebody, Junebug goes to fly and find somebody else. It's just on alert.
I'm
mode.
going to say that Junebug from a distance sees Farron and decides that Farron, bow already drawn, it looked like Farron already took a shot, so then beelines it to Keth. And basically you see Junebug and kind of does a little circle over the top and then heads just right back. And that just kind of directs you.
80 feet that direction.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And so then that's your next turn. Did you move last time?
Yeah, I did 80 feet, so I've done 160 feet.
Okay, that's going to get you in the vicinity. And
That makes sense. I thought I was kind of in the center of town, cooking on the
right.
hearth-ish thing,
My turn. So roll 1d6 damage for your ensnaring strike.
We all chilling.
6.
Damn.
Top damage.
So it struggles to get out of the ensnarement, and ends up actually tearing a hole in its own body, and then it just sort of like a popped pimple, just and it just stops moving.
Blackberries are brutal.
Should we try to get out of a seatbelt?
Fireball.
So we all saw it die, but none of us know what the fuck it is.
Kill the
Fireball.
player.
Fireball.
We'll have to nuke it from orbit. That's the
Fireball.
only way to be sure.
Bird runs up to it and just bashes it into the ground a little bit too.
Yeah, that's funny. You just like fireball. And you're everybody's just pounding.
Just die.
Yeah.
And mixing it with soil. This is not coming back. keep burning it.
Keth checks on you. Are
Like
you
glass
how are you doing?
glass the fucking area.
And everybody kind of shows up as this is happening. This like burn it with fire, kill it with red pencil,
Thwack! Fire.
kind of thing.
Fire.
Yeah.
And everybody is.
Oh, we have some really good sand.
Everybody is left with the this last. Even you get this this last wave of that your minds kind of like dip low and match that communication level, and it just keeps going on and on about what you were hearing the whole time. Let them in. Let them in. And it's just like static, and then it just ends.
I definitely want to cast comprehend languages. Like, is it no more like that kind of just ends after that?
It just ends after that.
Maybe I don't cast it.
Does everybody hear that, or just
Everybody, everybody who was in like 30 feet.
so? Do I know that it's the Cantharella tribe? Like, does it feel like a familiar enough sensation
Yes, you do.
that I could be like, that's what I heard back in the.
Yes, you do know that it's the Cantarella tribe.
So
Why does it mean us harm now, though? It was asking for our help before.
And that's where we'll end session.
Damn it.
Wait, I have a question before we end session. Time identified my dagger and we got distracted and you never said anything. Like, is it just a regular dagger?
It's a regular dagger.
Cool.
Yeah.
You just had a weird vision about it.
Of another dagger.
I figured it was a regular dagger, but I just
And wasn't
realized
your
we never said
vision
anything.
of Sparky's dagger?
Yeah, was that
I'm not sure. Hold on a second. So before you guys get into all the questions, thank you for coming to our show. I just spilled coffee all over me. It's great. Yeah, stay tuned. Next week we're gonna be here again and continue the story. What the fuck is up with this forest?
Yeah, why you gotta violate my body, Bill?
I thought it was
Fungus?
just a normal forest.
You gave me
Fungus
permission.
among us.
Don't pretend like you didn't.
I'm a funky fungus and I should be breaking down.
You're adorable.
I just also
I
in
was
real
a
life
camp
horror,
counselor.
I
as
learned
well.
today that there is a new human infecting fungus that is resistant to all antifungals and
Human fucking fungus?
infecting.
Oh, okay. Good. Still bad.
Yeah, but so like fungi are already really hard to get out of the human body because their cells are too similar to ours.
Yeah.
So like antifungals are really bad for you, but like now this one is resistant to all antifungals, so we're just like super fucked.
We gotta make friends with it.
Yeah.
I've got my essential oils. We're good.
Oh, great.
All right,
I
wave
heard
bye,
you say it.
everyone. See you next week. Thanks for tuning in.